Test here. I am going to walk you through some warm-up, some general gunfighting tips, how I use the Insured Slots and the firing range as a training ground. I've been playing Call of Duty since the first game 20 years ago. Took a long hiatus. I was a console player for a long time. The last game I played extensively was Modern Warfare 2. And I stopped playing console once I got into PC gaming. I didn't really play CoD after Modern Warfare 2 on console. I got back into it with Warzone 1. I kind of missed the tail end of that. And I started playing DMZ as a way to level up guns. And I discovered that I liked the game mode a lot more than regular Warzone. It's one of the most interesting games I've ever played. Definitely the best Call of Duty game mode, in my opinion, in I guess over 20 years. And got over 900 hours in DMZ at the moment. I'm playing on just a basic free account. Nothing special here, just 3 operators. I accidentally leveled these guys up to Damascus just by playing normally, and I kind of keep them as a trophy. I don't really like to bring these guys in normally, but DMZ started out with just 1 operator slot, and I think the game was really intended and built for regain as the main gameplay loop. Fixate talks a lot about this, and I have to agree with him that starting from scratch after you die is not punishing at all in DMZ. As far as extraction shooters go, my experience is very limited. I really have only played DMZ, not played Tarkov, not played anything else extraction shooter wise, but the regain cycle in DMZ is excellent. You can find a 2-plate almost anywhere. You can find a medium bag almost anywhere. You can easily buy them at buy stations. You can find lucky 3-plates around if you know where to look. I'll go more into that later. But right now I just kind of want to warm up with just general gunfighting tips. Again, I played console Call of Duty and other first-person shooters, as well as PC first-person shooters, but that was really over 20 years ago. And a lot of the systems have changed since then. There's cross-play now, not only between consoles, but between PC and consoles. And because of that, there's a bit of an arms race that's still ongoing with aim and aim assist. Between console players and PC players. PC players have natural advantages strictly from aiming. And to compensate for that, aim assist has really been ramped up and hyper-developed over the years to kind of level the playing field between PC players and console players so that you can keep up with each other. Console players are at a real disadvantage controller players. I mean, when it comes to aiming strictly, there are natural advantages to playing on controller, such as the movement, getting around the map, interacting with the environment, and generally just ease of play is a lot more comfortable on controller. That being said, the skill gap or the skill cap between console and PC players is hands down goes to the PC players. You can be a much higher level player on a PC just because of the control interface, because of that natural built-in advantage that PC players have when it comes to aiming. And if you're somebody really skilled at movement as well as aiming, somebody like Dylan, somebody like Haste, that's where the PC really shines. I've personally witnessed, bot level players on controller switch to PC and instantly be able to become better just because of the input difference. But we've all seen crazy, cracked controller players. All the high-level CoD players, to my knowledge, are controller, and that is probably because of aim assist and because the movement is really geared towards the controller player. That's what the developers, I believe, have in mind when they design movement interaction systems in Call of Duty. So let's hop into it. Let's get into the Insured Weapon Slots, the firing range, and my preferred loadouts. So as you can see, this guy, the Ranger skin, is what I exclusively play on. I only play this guy. If I die, I'll regain the next match. I won't load in with these Damascus tag guys for reasons I'll get into later, but let's hop into it. Let's go in, let's equip this operator. This guy's got a stealth plate, a self-revive, and pretty much nothing else. He's got 2 exfil streak. Let's see what he has. He has double time and scavenger. Double time is a really great first perk. Scavenger is a good perk. It's not my preferred perk in the top 3 or 4, which is generally what you're going to be. If you're on good runs, that's generally the average player's max. Is you're going to find yourself at a 1 to 4 exfil streak. You'll rarely get to a 5 streak or above. And again, I haven't played too much on Damascus players, really kind of testing it out and seeing what it feels like to play fully perked out. But I know that it does make a difference. Like, you can feel it, and I'll experiment with that more later. In case you don't know, double time will give you double attack sprint duration, which is really its main benefit. It also increases your crouch movement speed by 30%. I've not really done any testing on it, but I wonder if the audio cues from your crouch movement speed boost makes a discernible difference, if it really gives you an advantage or not. Say, for example, if you're trying to creep up in a stairwell from low ground to high ground, something like that. If other players are able to hear you better, if you are moving faster, or if it doesn't make that big of a difference. I will say that I'm playing on PS4, and the audio in this game is terrible on PS4. It is so bad. It's, from what I can gather, it's not too much better on PC, even with a maxed out system. But I will say that Quix has done a lot of work with his audio setup, and watching his stream, I get better audio from just watching his stream than I do playing in game. I know he's done a lot of work. He's compressed his audio. He's really kind of tuned it out, and I have to congratulate him for that, because a lot of the hacking accusations that he gets and other players get, people just don't know power of audio. It was not that bad from what I remember a long time ago. Again, the playing field was more equal. People were playing on similar devices, and the audio tuning was maybe just flat out better back then. But anyway, so this is your active duty operator slot, your loadout menu. I have gravitated towards smokes and knives for my tacticals and lethals, and I just happened to grab a haunted box. That is a glitch. It's not supposed to be in the game anymore, but you will find them floating around. And obviously now, with the state that the game's in, with dev abandonment and duping and such, glitching, they are still pretty common. If I don't have a haunted, if I don't find a haunted, I generally like to run a munitions box. Shout out to DDoS. DDoS is an OP tool if you know how to use it. I'll go more into that later. Dead Silence is definitely OP. Orbital Radar is a good choice. Even Battle Rage is a good choice. Recon Drone is underrated. AP rounds, we all know what AP rounds do. The armor box, I have that unlocked. That's a good choice as well if you're running with a coordinated team. I wouldn't recommend bringing that in solo, strictly because the Muni box just gives you, at least if you're a smoke player, a smoke and knives player, it gives you a lot more utility as a solo. And obviously the team benefits are good too. But the other reason you might want to run a Muni box, even if you're in a team with other guys running Muni boxes, is if you like to use ammo eaters, high rate of fire SMGs or ARs. And that's what I play is, for several reasons, I play mostly SMGs, or only SMGs and ARs. On a PS4, on console, I think you should stay away from sniping, because if you have crossplay, if you're playing against PC players, the time it takes you to line up a shot with a sniper rifle versus the time it takes an average skilled or even a player of lesser skill than yourself on PC is just way too much. It takes you way too long to line up that shot, especially a headshot, and forget about it on a moving target unless you're absolutely cracked. But you are always going to lose a sniper battle against an average PC player or above, and even a lesser skilled PC player as a controller player. Now, what ARs and SMGs do I use, and what order do I use them in? So, I've got a guy with a bag, a guy with a medium bag. So I could take in 3 weapons if I wanted, but if you've been playing this game for any length of time, you understand that it's a beta, it was never finished. It is very buggy, very glitchy, and oftentimes when you spawn in, your hands will glitch, meaning that you'll lose one of your secondary or primary weapons you've got equipped. I don't think I've ever lost a weapon that's in my bag or glitched out. I mean, when you spawn in and your hands glitch, you'll lose one or the other of these weapons here. And so, for that reason, I never ever take in 3 weapons anymore. I would not recommend it. You are going to have a hand glitch when you spawn in at some point. even if you know how to resolve the hand glitch, it's still a pain in the butt. And some of these spawns, that could get you killed just right off the bat. So what I've found as a way to alleviate the hand glitch is I will never equip anything in this primary weapon slot. I'll equip a weapon in the secondary slot, and I'll equip a weapon in the bag if I have one. If I'm spawning in naked, without a bag, without any gear, I will just take in one weapon. There are obvious limiting factors to that strategy, but that is a strategy that will help you to avoid, for the most part, the hand glitch. So when I first come in my operator loadout screen, I'll go into the second slot. I'll start thinking about what AR I'd like to take into the match. And recently I've been running the Advancer a lot, and I've built it out to my liking. This Advancer build is on the 12th iteration. Let's go in and take a look at what this thing has. So the Advancer just goes without saying that because of its rate of fire, because of the overshield system in DMZ, the armor plate system, and because of the fact that you'll be fighting against the entire lobby, but individually at least three players at a time, a full team, fully plated. You have to run the biggest mag possible, 60 round mag on the AR. I like to run the armor piercing weapon attachment. So this thing says increases bullet penetration, dealing higher damage when passing through cover, slight increase to vehicle damage. Just a point on that increase to vehicle damage, it is significant, it is noticeable, and it will win you fights against even armored vehicles like the LTV, but especially against like chop top teams, light helo teams. You can absolutely burn through a vehicle alone, even if you're not hitting anybody. You can pop tires, you can disable the vehicle, which will cause a vehicle crit. If people are seated in the vehicle, there's always going to be a driver at least. That vehicle crit, if it catches the other team off guard, will down them. So I've experimented with these other weapon types, or with these other ammo types with ARs and SMGs, and I won't go into full autistic level deep dive here, but the two ammo types that I would recommend for ARs at least would be armor piercing and high velo. High velo is kind of more of a specialty use case, but from what I've gathered from V-Raptor 2 is that the Advancer is one of the highest base bullet velocities for ARs in the game. So you don't really need to run the high velo in the Advancer, but if you wanted to min-max, that would be an option. But I think that the advantages for armor-piercing rounds far outweighs whatever you might gain from a high velo build on an Advancer. The AP rounds are obviously different than the field upgrade AP rounds. I don't know if they stack, if the ammo type and the AP round bonuses stack. I do feel like that the AP rounds might give you advantages fighting against tier 3 bots. It might cut through their armor. That I don't think it really makes a difference when you're shooting a fully plated enemy operator, but it might make a difference when you're shooting a tier 3 bot or tier 2 bot. I haven't done any tuning on the AP rounds because I don't feel like the trade-offs are really worth it. I do have tuning on the barrel and the laser. So going into the barrel, I think that you're going to get a lot of advantages from going with the longest barrel. It's going to give you boosted damage range and bullet velocity. The hipfire accuracy is not as important as those two, but it may matter when you're toggling your ADS, which I'll get into later, but it's an aiming technique, and I will get into that later, but mainly we're running the long bore, the longest barrel for the damage range and bullet velo boost, and this is my tuning for that. We're running the laser to compensate for the ADS debuff that we get from running the long barrel. I believe that especially on an SMG, but on an AR, the ADS time really does matter. It matters to the sooner you can get your sights up, the sooner you can put accurate shots on target. And that's one of the biggest reasons I like the Advancer, is because it has excellent iron sights. I think probably the top 2 iron sights for ARs are the Advancer here and the TAC 56, and that's because of the bladed front post and the minimal obstruction you get from the rear sight. If you don't run an optic, if you run an iron sight on any weapon, you're going to have the best possible ADS time from your optic slot alone. That saves you a slot. It opens up another slot you can use for, a laser, an underbarrel attachment, barrel modification, a muzzle device, stock, cone, rear grip, in case the Advancer if you want to run that, but I don't find that these options for the Advancer are really that worth it. For example, the rear grip, a lot of people run rear grips on Advancers because of its insane fire rate. People like to go for, the recoil control rear grip attachment. But as you can see, its drawback is aiming stability, which is a critical point in the weapon handling. I'll go more into exactly what those are later, but that's one thing about this game that's can be a little annoying, but is also kind of cool, is there's not like, you don't get overloaded with information in the build. You don't get crazy stat breakdowns, graphs, charts, which you do get, I think, in the more current versions of Warzone or Call of Duty in general. But I think that's kind of information overload for the average player, and most people are over-tuning or not tuning their weapons properly. They're not using the correct attachments for the weapon types, for their use cases. And the game doesn't give you explicit details about, what does recoil control mean? What does recoil stability mean? What does aiming stability mean? What does aim walking speed mean? I mean, you can kind of discern these things, but as you play the game more, and as you get, more interested in hyper tuning your loadouts, as you get a better grasp of the type of play style that you want to have, your strengths, your weaknesses, you'll understand those things more and more. And I'll help you with that by giving you my understanding of how these things work, what they are, what they mean. So again, for the Advancer, I would not recommend messing with any of the stock cone or grip options. You want to use the iron sights on the Advancer. They are very good. They are excellent. You're already losing a weapon slot with your mag because you have to run the biggest mag possible on a high rate of fire. But really on any gun you use, any SMG, AR, any sniper rifle, anything you use, you want to have the most rounds at your disposal possible without getting into performance trade-offs, handling trade-offs. You don't want to have such a big mag on a weapon that you don't really need, that will increase your reload time, increase your make you slower, like movement-wise. The faster you're moving, the harder you are to hit. The more likely you are to win gunfights. We're using the laser to compensate for the ADS time that we're losing from the barrel and from the muzzle device. And this is the laser that I think is probably the best overall option for any AR. ARs that need it, that is the FSS OLE5 laser. Gives you ADS speed, gives you aiming stability, and it gives you sprint to fire speed. Those last two are very, very important. Your ADS speed is important for obvious reasons, but your aiming stability and your sprint to fire speed, which is the speed that it takes you if you're tack sprinting or regular sprinting, to the time that you can get your sights up to get yourself into full ADS. That sprint to fire speed bonus will help to decrease that time. So it'll help to get you into your sight picture and help you get shots on target faster, which is very, very important for any close to medium range engagement, which is all that you're getting into with SMGs and ARs. The tuning is not crazy on this laser. You could slam it for ADS speed, but you're going to be losing a lot in aiming idle stability, and that is the weapon sway that you get when you're ADS'd, when you're fully ADS'd, and I'll show you what that is in the firing range. But from my understanding, the aiming idle stability, that weapon sway, where your front post is kind of moving around, even if you're not moving your character or changing your view using your right stick, that aiming idle stability is going to be there even if you're firing, is what I understand. And you can see it clearly when you're ADS'd and you're not firing. So that is just going to improve your overall accuracy, your ability to keep your front post, your front sight on target. Lastly, we're going to use the Komodo Heavy muzzle device, and this will give you only horizontal recoil control, which is the most difficult type of recoil control to compensate for. You'll have vertical and horizontal recoil on any gun when you shoot it. The gun is either going to pull to the left or the right. It's always going to pull up when you're firing on automatic. But it's depending on the gun, it's going to kick generally to the left or to the right. What you're losing with the Komodo Heavy is ADS and aiming stability. You're only losing a bit of each with this type of muzzle device in comparison to, say, a suppressor. A suppressor is going to much more dramatically impact your ADS time, your general weapon handling. As you can see, this one, the Harbinger, is going to not only impact your ADS speed and your aiming stability, but also your aim walking speed. Your aim walking speed is very important in an AR engagement, in a medium or close range engagement, because as your ADS trying to put shots on target, the slower that you're moving, the easier it is going to be for the other guy to hit you. And you are going to always want to be moving in some direction as your ADS trying to put shots on target to engage what Call of Duty calls rotational aim assist, or just aim assist in general. And so that's the general build for the Advancer. We have our huge mag because this thing just absolutely shreds through rounds. That's a good thing for the guy, for us. It's a bad thing for the guy you're shooting at. It has AP rounds to wall bang to get through obstacles. As your skill improves and as your game IQ improves, you'll be able to reliably hit people that you cannot see behind surfaces that you know are penetrable. Most surfaces in the game are penetrable. We'll talk more about this later, but the ammo depots, the buy stations, those two-story kind of oval buildings, all the surfaces in those buildings are wall bangable. Every wall, the floors, the ceilings, every surface is wall bangable. And so the guy's hiding in a corner. If you tag him through a window and he starts running away and passes behind walls, if you can see which way he runs and you are able to gauge, how fast he's able to run, you can shoot him through the walls very, very easily, especially if you get a live ping off. We'll get into that later. Even average players have a hard time dealing with knowing the difference between a cheater that's using wall hacks and just a guy that is able to predict your movement. A slightly higher skill player, a player that has more game time, more map knowledge, more first-person shooter experience, you're going to be able to read how people are going to react to your plays, and I'll get into that later, is how you can be proactive with your plays, how you can be predictive, how you can create opportunities, create downs, create kills, just through being smart, you know, not necessarily even having the most cracked aim. Playing the game every day for 12 hours for the past 20 years, you know, which is not me. I have not done that. So, alright, we have our AR built. So, let's focus on that. Let's equip this thing and get this into the firing range. And we're glitching out. This is so funny. This classic Call of Duty experience visual glitch. I believe I can still fire. I'm probably still looking at it. It's not going to load in, so I'm going to just reset the firing range. And there we go. It's working now. Alright. So if you guys noticed, I pulled out an M4 here, and the M4 is one of the other two weapons I have for my insured slots. When you go into the firing range, you'll take in whatever gun you've equipped and tuned and built out, whatever, and the next gun. So you can use this to practice two guns at once. And you always want to have something else, you know, ready to go to help you practice your reload canceling. So let's go back into the firing range. So a reload cancel is, oh, my buddy's inviting me. You know what? I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to go play with my buddy, and we will resume Call of Duty Academy at a later date. Alright, see you guys.